Call the member for Rockdale.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I wish to raise with the House a fantastic result my community has recently achieved in the retention of public land for public purposes. I can inform the House that I was absolutely shocked last year when I discovered the Department of Education's plan to seek a high-rise rezoning for the former Cairnsfoot School site at Loftus Street, Torella, in preparation for its sale. However, as I knew that the Minister for Education is a decent man and a sensible man with a strong background in planning, I immediately wrote to him seeking a sensible intervention in the matter. To give the House context, the former Cairnsfoot site does not merely hold significance in its lengthy tenure as a school for children with disabilities in the St George region, but is also of great historical significance, having been constructed in 1884 and being one of just 20 state heritage items across the entirety of St George. It would have been an absolute travesty to see it fall out of public hands as just another high-rise unit site, and an entirely unfair outcome for local residents. Every school in the area is at or over capacity, and we have another school site, Arcliffe West Infant School, who would love the opportunity to expand. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the previous work the Minister has done supporting schools, students and parents in my community through the reclassification of Cairnsfoot Infant School from K2 to K6, a result which was made possible through the Minister's willingness to take sensible advice from stakeholders and not letting himself be blinded by hyper-partisanship or political brinkmanship. Game playing. That's why I knew that when I wrote to Minister Stokes I would get a fair hearing and my proposal to retain the former Cairnsfoot site would be considered on its merits. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, this was not to be. I understand parliamentary secretaries play an important role in supporting the work of the executive as well as giving an opportunity for young talent to develop before the training wheels are taken off in the ministry. I am sad to inform the House that while I'm sure the Minister's parliamentary secretary is a bright young talent, unfortunately it looks like he's not quite ready to take those training wheels off, given his unfortunate mismanagement of this issue. Mr. Speaker, quite frankly, I was very disappointed to receive the member for Kiama's brief and dismissive response to what was a very reasonable and non-partisan request. And I'd like to see an explanation as to why the parliamentary secretary felt the need to write the following. Unlike the former Labor government, we have ensured that decisions about property matters are dealt with independently. Mr. Speaker, if you think that flogging off a public school site during the property boom in a location with a great deal of historical and cultural significance to local residents and the people of New South Wales should be dealt with independently, I don't think you understand the concept of executive responsibility, representative politics or common sense. Running our children's schools requires more than a crash course in ideological combat. Mr. Speaker, fortunately, what couldn't be seen by the Pale Sec was evident to the P&C of Arcliffe West Infant School, and I must thank and acknowledge the hard work of Diana Saleh and all the other local parents, as well as my good friend, the fabulous Shadow Minister for Education, Gia Did, who fought for this outcome. I would like to thank Minister Stokes, who responded with a commitment to maintaining the site in public hands for educational purposes within hours of being made aware of the situation. And I'd like to once again thank the Minister for his decency in this matter. Mr. Speaker, the Minister should be able to rely on the support of his Pale Sec, and it is a sad state of affairs when he has to clean up after his understudy. Now, I refer to a letter, Mr. Speaker, where it starts off well, it says dear, crosses out camper and says Steve, but the rest of it, Mr. Speaker, is a crap sandwich. And it basically goes on to say, this is the response. Unlike the former government, decisions about property matters are dealt with independently. I'm worried about what the Pale Sec is implying about the Minister's actions. Mr. Speaker, thank you once again to Minister Stokes for committing to retain the site and look forward to discussing the future use of the site as a school for the local community. Thank you.
Well done. I thank the member for Rockdale. Speaker.